Welcome to Cortex Lab. I'm Ishanka. Here, we don't just fill your thoughts, we rewire your thinking.
All right, let's get into it. If you're here, you're probably past the "what does this button do" phase. And that's great, because today, we're not just learning Power BI, we're learning how to think in Power BI. This is all about building powerful, fast, and super insightful data solutions, like a pro. Okay, let's do this. So the first and probably most important thing to get your head around is this. Moving from Excel to Power BI isn't just an upgrade, it's a completely different way of thinking. I mean, Excel is amazing, right? It's our trusty spreadsheet for self-contained analysis. But Power BI, that's a whole other beast. It's really an engineering platform. We're talking about something built to chew through millions, even billions of records from 100 different places all at once. It just demands a different mindset.
So where do we start? Well, we start with the blueprint. Every single business intelligence project, I don't care what tool you're using, follows a fundamental workflow. We call it the BI data lifecycle. And really, mastering this process is non-negotiable if you want to be a serious data pro.
And this lifecycle, it breaks down into 5 key stages. First up, we prepare. This is where you grab all that messy raw data and wrestle it into something clean and actually usable. Next, we model. And this is where we build the brain, creating those all-important relationships between our tables. Then comes the fun part. We visualize, turning boring tables into cool, interactive charts. From there, we analyze. This is where we actually use the visuals to find trends and figure out what's going on. And finally, we manage. Governing the data, sharing it, and making sure it's all secure. Every step builds directly on the one before it.
Now, what's really interesting here is where most of your time is actually spent, the preparation stage. Let's be honest, it's the most focused, and yeah, it's the most tedious part of the job. But, and this is a huge but, it is also the most critical. If you start with bad data, you're going to get bad visuals. And bad visuals, they lead to bad analysis, which can lead to, well, some pretty catastrophic business decisions. If you get this first step wrong, nothing else you do is going to matter.
Okay, so you've got your data prepped and cleaned. Now you're facing what is, without a doubt, the single most important decision in any Power BI project. This one choice is going to define your model's speed, its clarity, and how well it can grow, right from the very beginning.
So what is it? I mean, really think about it. Is it the type of chart you pick? The color palette? That super complex DAX formula you're so proud of? Nope. It's something way more fundamental than any of that.
The answer is the structure of your data model. And for pretty much every successful, high-performing data model out there, the blueprint is this, the STAR schema. And listen, this isn't just a friendly suggestion. It's the industry-standard way to organize your data to get the best performance and make it easy to understand. It is the absolute bedrock of good Power BI development.
And the great thing about a star is how simple it is. Right in the middle, you've got your fact tables. These hold the numbers, the events, the stuff you want to measure, like sales transactions or inventory levels. Then, surrounding that central fact table, you have your dimension tables. These give all that data its context. They answer the who, what, where, and when. They've got the details on your products, your customers, your dates. You get the idea. So think of it this way. The facts of the numbers, the dimensions tell the story behind the numbers.
All right, now for the real heart of our session today. Let's get into what really separates the beginners from the experts. And it's not about memorizing 100 DAX functions. It's about having a disciplined, smart approach to how you build and optimize. So let's look at some common rookie mistakes and contrast them with what the pros do.
First up, modeling philosophy. A classic rookie mistake is just pulling everything into one giant flat table. Probably because it feels a lot like Excel. But a pro lives by the KISS principle. Keep it simple. They are absolutely ruthless about trimming down the data. They only bring in columns they know they're going to use. They filter out rows they don't need. And they avoid high cardinality columns, the ones with a million unique values, like a timestamp down to the millisecond, because they know those things are performance killers and just bloat your model.
Okay, next, the DAX dilemma. Rookies tend to use calculated columns for everything. Again, it feels familiar, just like adding a formula in Excel. But here's the problem. Those columns are physically stored in your table. They take up memory for every single row. The pro move? Prefer measures. Always. Measures are like these lightweight virtual calculations that only happen when you actually need them. They don't make your file size bigger at all. This might be the single most important optimization trick you ever learn. So remember this. If you can do it with a measure, always do it with a measure.
And it goes deeper than that. Experts are super intentional about the DAX functions they use. They know that some functions, like search or the old I error, are just memory and processing hogs, because they have to scan every single row of a table to work. So instead, they use way more efficient alternatives. For example, instead of wrapping a division in I error, they'll just use the divide function. It has error handling built right in, and it's way faster.
Here's another key habit of a pro. They use variables in their DAX formulas. Seriously, writing a complex formula without variables is like trying to build something complicated with no instructions. Variables let you break down your logic into easy-to-read steps. They actually make your report faster by making sure a calculation only runs once. And trust me, they make fixing things later on infinitely less of a headache. It's just a non-negotiable best practice.
Okay, so our model is lean, our DAX is super efficient. Now we can shift gears from the back-end engine to the front-end experience. This is the final polish, but it's absolutely crucial. Designing something that's actually effective for the people who are going to use it.
You know, a really common point of confusion is the difference between a report and a dashboard. A report is where you do the deep dive analysis. It's usually got multiple pages, and it's built to explore the why behind the numbers. A dashboard, on the other hand, is a single page. Its only job is to show you what's happening right now. It pulls together the most important high-level visuals from maybe one or more reports to give you a quick at-a-glance health check. They serve two totally different purposes.
And finally, a true professional builds for everyone. Look, accessibility is not some optional extra. It is a core part of your job. This means simple things like using alt text so screen readers can describe your visuals. It means setting a logical tab order so people can navigate with a keyboard. It means checking your color contrast so the report is actually readable. And of course, giving everything clear titles and labels. Don't make people guess what they're looking at. Make your insights available to all of your colleagues.
Which kind of brings us to our last big idea. As you get better and better on your Power BI journey, try to remember this. Your job isn't really just to build reports. Your real job is to build a trusted, reliable, high-performing single source of truth that helps your entire company make smarter decisions. You're not just a report builder, you're an architect of information.
So with all that said, I want to turn it over to you. Based on your own experience, what is your #1 tip for someone who's trying to get past the basics in Power BI? What's that one thing you wish somebody had told you a lot sooner?
Go ahead and share that wisdom down in the comments. Let's build up a great resource for everyone right here. And hey, if you want to go even deeper and really master these concepts, you can grab the book that inspired a lot of this session using the link provided. Keep building, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next one.